These beautiful guitars make me feel like I'm a kid again, but sadly I'm not.
Well, I may not be new, but these sure are, while paying tribute to a golden era. If you love Gibson as much as I do, then join me for the next episode of I Don't Have a Band, right now. Welcome to episode 17 of I Don't Have a Band. Hey there, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to check out the original collection from Gibson Guitars. First off, all of these guitars were provided by Long McQuaid, Canada's largest musical instrument retailer. If you want any more information about these guitars, please check out Long McQuaid in store, there's over 70 of them across Canada, or online at long-mcquaid.com. Having the opportunity to check out multiple instruments at once, I decided to focus my review on the thing that Gibson promised all of its customers, that they were going to refocus their efforts on quality and craftsmanship. Something important to note about the original collection is that these are not reissues. What Gibson has done is borrowed key features that players have been demanding for years and incorporated them into 2019 models. This Les Paul 60 Standard, for example, solid, non-weight relief mahogany body, slim tapered neck. We'll get into more details about the other guitars, but that is an important distinction to make, because remember, Gibson promised quality. So if they had to make some compromises in terms of historical accuracy, they did it to ensure they were delivering a quality product. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to bring you guys in real close. We're going to focus on the details and the finishes of these guitars and see if Gibson is delivering what they promised. Okay, why don't we get started with the Les Paul Standard 60s. Getting this close to a guitar is unfair scrutiny, but we're doing it anyway. Looking at it super close under bright lights reveals things the human eye won't see. But this Les Paul is certainly passing the test. The AA flamed maple top has a beautiful finish, is well matched, and has stunning grain detail. The solid mahogany body has no weight relief and feels really substantial in your hands. Let's take a moment to observe the fine details in the bindings, bound fingerboard, nut, neck, and heel joint. As you can see, there was tremendous attention to detail. The guitars featured in this video were not handpicked for this purpose. No one knew my concept when they were loaned to me. I'm truly impressed with what I'm seeing so far. Let's take a look at some of the main features. The slim taper mahogany neck distinguishes the 60s model from the 50s Les Paul standard. It has a rosewood fingerboard with trapezoid inlays, medium jumbo frets, and a Graph-Tech nut. For hardware, you've got a modern take on the ABR1 Tune-O-Matic bridge in nickel finish and Grover Rotomatic kidney bean tuners. The gold top hat control knobs are very reminiscent of 60s models. But what's great about these are the Audio Taper 500K pots they sit on. These really work, delivering a full range of volume and tone adjustments, giving you a myriad of sound options right from the guitar. And no push-pull, very traditional. 2 volume and 2 tone controls doing their work the old-fashioned way, all hand-wired with no circuit boards. For pickups, you've got a burst bucker 61T in the bridge position and a 61R in the neck. These have Alnico 5 magnets, giving you a bit more juice over the 50s standard. Overall, this guitar is flawless front and back and plays as well as it looks. In the case, there is a photo of the guitar on the bench at the factory. A baby photo of your baby. Nice touch. If this is a typical example of the Les Paul 60 standard, then you're in for a real treat if you decide to pick one up. The name of the original collection's SG is quite a mouthful and not historically accurate, but that takes nothing away from this beautiful guitar. The SG was originally released in 1961 as the Gibson Les Paul SG, without the blessing of Les Paul himself. The Les Paul standard sales were sagging, so Gibson answered with this new design. As we know, this was corrected later in the decade, and this became known simply as the SG. The original collection offers 5 different versions of the SG, with this model adding a beautiful Maestro Vibrola tailpiece. The vintage cherry finish on the solid mahogany body is stunning. Again, the attention to detail is very apparent. Let's look closely at the bodywork, bound fretboard, nut, and heel joint. Looking closely at the features of this SG, you'll find a mahogany slim taper neck with rosewood fingerboard, medium jumbo frets, trapezoid inlays, and a Graph-Tech nut. For hardware, you've got a nickel finished ABR1 Tune-O-Matic bridge and the Maestro Vibrola I mentioned earlier. The control knobs sport black top hats with silver reflectors, a period accurate shaped 5-ply black pickguard, and vintage deluxe keystone button tuners. For pickups, the SG sports the same burst bucker pickups as the 60s Les Paul, with a 61T in the bridge position and a 61R in the neck. Brilliant finish on the 61 SG just shines with playability to match. This is another great example of Gibson's resurgence, guaranteed to delight any SG fan. And finally, the Firebird. This is a cool guitar with a rich history. It's a very different instrument, unless of course you were brought up on one. The Original Collection Firebird is a loose interpretation of an early 60s Firebird 5. It has a 60s style 2-pickup configuration and trapezoid inlays, but mixed with some modern appointments. Most famously, the Firebird was Gibson's first model with a neck-through body design. True to form, the Original Collection model carries this forward with a beautiful 9-ply mahogany and walnut construction. It has a slim taper neck with rosewood fingerboard, medium jumbo frets, and a Graph-Tech nut. The chrome finish hardware includes an aluminum Nashville tune-o-matic bridge with aluminum stop bar tailpiece. A vintage 60s Firebird has banjo-style tuners, but Gibson chose to go with Grover Mini Rotomatics. My guess, this was simply favoring performance over historical appointments, and I think that was a great decision. The guitar stays in tune, and these tuners are very responsive. You've got black top hat controls with silver reflectors sitting on the same audio taper pots featured in the Les Paul. The pickups are Gibson's famous mini humbuckers. They've got a lot of punch and tend to be brighter than the standard wide humbuckers. Let's take a moment to admire the finish. Again, it's all in the attention to fine details, and this Firebird is no exception. The cherry finish is beautiful. The color is rich, yet still accentuates the gorgeous grain pattern, the solid mahogany wings, and the beautiful details of the 9-ply construction flowing through the center of the guitar and neck. The fretboard is bound and immaculate, as is the finish around the nut. And the 3-ply pickguard, proudly displaying the classic Firebird logo, finishes off this guitar in style. I spent a lot of time with the Firebird, and this thing rocks. Solid construction, incredible looks, stable tuning, and an all-round fun guitar to play. Well, there you have it. The 60s era of the Original Collection. I'm thoroughly impressed. I went through these guitars with a fine-tooth comb, and the finishes are flawless, and they play just as good as they look. Well set up straight from the factory, and the quality you would expect from a Gibson guitar. I love the concept of the two new lines, traditionally inspired guitars in the Original Collection, and newer innovations in the modern collection. The debate ends here. Gibson is satisfying both spectrums of its client base by delivering clearly defined product lines and quality synonymous with the legacy of the Gibson brand. Well played, Gibson. And a huge thank you once again to Long McQuaid for supplying these wonderful guitars. I've been a proud customer for 25 years, and I encourage you all to visit them in store or online. To get the full story on the new Gibson lines or any of your other musical instrument needs, visit long-mcquaid.com. As always, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And please like, subscribe, and ring that bell if you want to stay up to date. Remember, you don't need a band to rock and roll. There are a lot of great musical projects you could do by yourself right from your own home. I hope to see you again next time.